I was really excited a few months back when I was finally able to upgrade my PlayStation Plus subscription to the new PS Plus Premium service, as I would now get access to hundreds of PS4 and 5 games. However, the biggest draw for me was the Classics catalogue, as it would allow me to replay classic PS1, 2 and PSP games on my PS5, and best of all, PS1 games would now finally have trophies. Oh yes, this was music to my ears, as I was really looking forward to playing classic titles like Cypher Filter and Ape Escape, games I played as a kid, and now I would get to earn trophies in them. Surprisingly, all of these classic PS1 games would have a platinum trophy, which made me even more excited, as this really did sweeten the deal, and I was really looking forward to trying out all of these classics and trying to earn all of the platinum trophies in them. I couldn't wait.
But wait, there's more!
Because when I finally sat down and started to play them, I noticed some of the PS1 games were different to some of the others, and I smelt a huge whiff of fucking bullshit. Because some of my favourite ones, like Resident Evil, don't even have any trophies. What the fuck?
That one bullshit PlayStation trophy.
Well done, Sony. You had to go and give with one hand and take away with the other, didn't you? I mean, look, I love that there are new ways to play these classic PS1 games, especially on my PS5, and that some of them have trophies, but why? Why, Sony? Why did you not mandate that all PS1 and PS2 games need to have trophy support? Instead, you made it optional, so of course, third parties like Namco and Capcom aren't going to spend more time and resource adding this feature in if they don't have to, are they? I mean, let's take a look here at the current games available on the service and see how many have trophies, shall we? Okay, so Worms Armageddon doesn't have trophies, Toy Story 2 doesn't have trophies, Resident Evil doesn't have trophies, Tekken 2 doesn't have trophies, Siphon Filter 2 does have trophies, this game doesn't have trophies, Toy Story 3, PSP and Jumping Flash don't have trophies, Siphon Filter 1 has trophies, and Ape Escape has trophies. That's 3 out of the 10 games listed there. Fuck's sake, that's just not enough. And then if we look at the next bunch of games, again, it's even less.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Now, while I realise Sony want devs to put their old games on this service, and they may have worried that forcing trophies to be a mandatory thing would put studios off, as I do realise it will entail more work, more time and money invested to design, implement and test these out to make sure they work, rather than just simply and quickly emulating the game as is, or would that be as was back in the day on PS1 or 2? But still, as a trophy hunter, I feel like we've been shot in the foot somewhat here. This is kind of like a Trojan's horse, and I hope that more third parties, when their games get added to this service, will put trophies into the games whenever they do release them. And speaking of releasing games, that's another problem I have with this service. Because you see, in the 3 months or so I've paid for the top premium tier, they have only actually released 1 new PS1 game and about 3 PSP games, yet the PSP ones had no trophies. So I've paid for 3 months of premium to only really get 1 PS1 game, Siphon Filter 2, as the middle tier extra also comes with the game catalogue, so the premium only really has game streaming, which I won't use because it's crap, and the classic catalogue. So while we also got PS3 versions of Sly Cooper this month, the premium tier doesn't really feel like good value for money. I feel like myself and a lot of other gamers feel this, that you'd be better off just buying the extra tier, using that for the game catalogue, and then just buying whatever PS1 games release on the service, as you can buy them separately if they take your fancy whenever they do arrive. It's really frustrating, because when the service was first announced, I was expecting 5 or so PS1 and 5 or so PS2 games a month, After all, they have thousands of games available for both of those consoles, and I thought for the first few months of this new service at least, they'd managed to actually hit that target to, hit the ground running and make this look like a really badass alternative to Xbox's Game Pass. And instead, with PlayStation Plus Premium at least, I feel like they've just half-arsed it. Where is Tomb Raider? Where is Metal Gear Solid, Tekken 3, Silent Hill, Pandemonium, and all the other great PS1 classics, not to mention the PS2 classics? I hope they're coming, and I hope to God they have trophies in them. After all, I had an absolute blast replaying Siphon Filter 1 and 2 again and getting the Platinum trophies in both, and it's just really disappointing to see other PS1 greats like Resident Evil 1 not have trophies with them. It just makes it feel like this is an inferior and a more lazy port, and I know I could still replay that game regardless and still have a lot of fun with it because it's a great game. It's a classic. I've got about 5 or 6 versions of that game already, but as a trophy hunter, I know when playing it I'd have that nagging feeling at the back of my mind that I'm just wasting my time as I'm not earning trophies and I could be playing another game and getting those trophies, and I would just resent the fact that they aren't included, so it wouldn't give me that extra drive and that extra push to play through a old school game that might be a little bit janky and a little bit clunky and a little bit harder to play than a more modern game, and just push through it to know that I'm going to get a platinum by the end of it. I was also disappointed that the PS1 Toy Story 2 game didn't have any trophies, and when I tried the PSP Toy Story 3 game, I'd hoped that this one might have had trophies, but as I booted it up, I quickly was disappointed to see that this one also didn't have any trophy support, which is quite a shame really, because it's definitely a missed opportunity in this game, because the game actually has in-game trophies. You can see it on the menu screen here in this box. Contains a bunch of trophy achievements that you can get for finding various hats and beating certain requirements. So the trophies are already there, so they could have just spent a little bit of time to just make these actually trigger actual trophies, and sadly they don't. So again, it's just another missed opportunity, and I really hope that doesn't continue with all of the other bigger PS1 and PS2 games like Metal Gear Solid. So yeah, as it stands, it's definitely a mixed bag, this PlayStation Plus, especially the premium tier. I'm glad to get the opportunity to play these PS1 classics via my PS4 and PS5, but I just wish they all had trophies as a mandatory thing, so they have to have them included, because otherwise I'd fear that devs just aren't going to bother spending that time to put them in, and then more people aren't going to want to buy them because they haven't got the trophies, so we won't see Sony support this long term. But I might be wrong, and let's just hope that they do this properly and we start to see more games on the service. So this has been a bit of a different episode of That One Bullshit PlayStation Trophy. It's been more of a rant of just a thing in general than a specific trophy. So hopefully you've enjoyed this different sort of episode. Let me know what you think of PlayStation Plus Premium, these PlayStation 1 classics and the ones that do and don't have trophies, and what you think of that in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.